Welcome back, friends. Welcome in. You're listening to the Scissortail podcast. Co-host Porter Cunningham here, joined as always by my friend, co-host Will Bowersox. Will, say hello.
Hello. That was like the 19th time we've listened to the opening intro to Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, but it's such a great riff. I mean, I just wanted to listen to it over and over again.
I'm extremely fired up for this podcast.
We finally got an opening that is not straight out of GarageBand jingles. So
I've been listening to this podcast called Startup, and the episode I listened to today was about Groove Shark. Remember Groove Shark?
Yeah.
And it was about how they basically were misusing, without a license from all the record labels, tracks commercially.
Okay.
It was very sad. Anyway, it was a very sad podcast, but we've now crossed into using a song, but we're not using it for commercial gain. Because I should mention, unlike other journalistic entities in Oklahoma City, while we are amateur, but nonetheless a member of the media, this is not sponsored content by Rayo OKC.
That's right. We are completely independent from Rayo OKC. We are completely independent, semi-professional media members.
Yes. Now, if we were, say, writing a weekly blog and someone wanted to syndicate it, we would of course insist that it went into a op-ed portion of the paper.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. Anyway.
Yeah. So let's get started on episode 15. We're going to talk about...
Yeah. We get our car next week.
Yeah. We're going to talk about yesterday's result.
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
First, I want to mention, before we get started, that we have once again changed locations. We are now recording... coming to you on tape delay from
the great studio in the sky.
The Scissortail studio in the sky on the 14th floor overlooking this beautiful city of Oklahoma City.
I feel like I can see Miller High Stadium in the distance.
Yes, it's not that far. It's about from my elbow to the end of my finger from here, from downtown to Miller Stadium.
About yay distance.
So, yeah, if you're noticing our great acoustic change... that's why. Or poor acoustic change or whatever.
Listen to it on the playback. All right, anyway, let's jump in.
Corrections? I don't have any corrections from last week.
None.
Okay. On the road at Tampa Bay, 1-1 draw.
Hated fierce rivalry game. The tensions were so high that honestly, I'm fine with it. It was an underwhelming game to watch from Rayo. If we were the Tampa Bay podcasters, we'd probably be pretty furious we didn't win like 4 or 5-1. But I guess sometimes when you're playing results-driven football, the means don't have to look pretty.
That's right.
It's just the end.
That's right. Joe Cole, the featured man of the day in Tampa Bay.
Played very well.
Maybe had 3 practice sessions with the team and already had a pretty significant impact on the game. So
I was impressed. Attendance looked good. Do we know a number yet?
I think it was a pretty packed house, actually. I don't know what their stadium holds, 11,000, something like that. If that, I don't know.
Unclear. But
it was pretty full, so I expect to see close to 100% attendance at Owl Lang Stadium. Let's talk about things we liked, things we didn't like. You go first. What'd you like?
I liked getting the point. Maybe I'm stealing your thunder when I say that. I like to see Hernandez, the left back, have a pretty good impact on the game.
Yep, second game for him. So.
Good impact. I liked. It looked like we minimized playing around with the ball in the back.
Although it almost did bite us twice, I think. So
not
until late in the game. It wasn't like. Right. We'll talk about this later, but it was a clear shift in strategy.
Not a ton to like.
Yeah,
I guess I did like Michel's goal. That was kind of a hilarious deal.
Yes, yeah, gotta like a goal, I guess. I also liked getting a point on the road. I really liked Derek Boateng's play. He was strong.
He's a boss.
He was strong. I think he's very. I don't want to say underrated because he's been one of the biggest name signings of the team.
He's a real Del Boy.
That's right. Real Del Boy. We picked up that term this week. Yeah,
Del Boy was his nickname when he played for Fulham. So just Google what it means.
Yeah, exactly. That's Mr. Derek Boateng to you.
That's Mr. Del Boy to you.
Mr. Del Boy to you. But he's been huge in the midfield up until now, and it just shows itself on a night like last night where every touch, it seemed, was great. He's great at shielding the ball. His
even
distribution's great.
Even his fouls were well timed.
Yes.
He's probably my favorite player on the team. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's got dreadlocks, which are awesome.
Love him.
Okay.
What didn't you like?
Oh, gosh. So much. I mean, probably anybody watching the game from a Rayo standpoint hated that they basically packed it in after going up 1-0. I didn't like that if the plan was to park the bus after going up 1-0, I didn't like that Samaras didn't play. Now, Velasquez subbed in for Finley, which I'd never seen Velasquez play up top. He's always played in the midfield. So I was surprised that he was the point man. I guess the plan was maybe to have him be the springboard on the counter, but it was just completely negated by us parking the bus. So for me, Samaras should have been up there. He's a much better he's just a different style of play. He's the guy that you want. He's like a possession holding center forward style of play. But I mean, they packed it in. They were a little bit sloppy, I guess, at times. Just kind of a tough game to watch, really. But happy we got the point.
I have to agree. My first note here, things that I didn't like, was not seeing Samaras play. If we're going to argue that he is one of the prior to Joe Cole, one of the biggest signings in NASL history, and he's fit, then you should find a way to make him play every week, right? And I know this is a deep team, but
he may not be fit. No, it's not a deep team. Maybe on the attacking side.
Yeah, I thought, when I watched the game the first time, which I was watching on my phone via the ESPN app at my sister's graduation.
Sidebar question. Okay. How was the quality?
Really good in the first half, and then deteriorating in the second half. And I don't know if that was the stream or my cellular provider making my data go slower because so much data had been used, or since I was at graduation, a few thousand people there,
crowding
a lot of people were using the signal. So
okay, inside bar question.
So what I was saying was, I wanted to see Samaras come in for Marvin Chavez and then switch. I'm sorry, not Marvin Chavez. Richie Minjabar.
Yeah,
and switch. Then immediately switch and have Samaras play on the left wing, Billy on the right wing, and leave Robbie in the game as a center forward.
I agree completely. And I guess since we're talking about it, Forbes didn't have a huge impact for me. That was kind of disappointing.
No, he did not. And the other
credit to Tampa Bay on that one, I think.
Right. I think the defender that they had on him is just as fast as Billy. So I think they played matchup there.
Got it.
But also, if one of the key criticisms of Samaras is can't play on turf, well, here was another one of the, half of the games are going to be on grass in the NASL season. Here was a game on grass. Especially then, why not get him some more minutes on grass if that's going to be your argument? Another thing I didn't like, why is Danny playing almost all of his goal kicks short? I don't know what the reason is there. On the broadcast, I think it was Todd or Mark said maybe they don't have the size in the midfield to win the headers, and I think we'll see that when we look at the stats. I don't think they won that many aerial duels this weekend, but just something to keep an eye on, I guess. And I just fundamentally am not a huge fan of it because I guess you could say you'd want them to play out of the back, but so many times it was play the short a short goal kick to Kimura just outside the box. He plays it immediately back to Danny, and then Danny boots it long. So
I think the issue is the midfielders not dropping in. I'm totally fine with retaining possession and playing a short goal kick, but you have to actually have the players drop in to support the build-up.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, we'll look at the stats, though.
That's all I had.
Yeah, likewise. So we will take a quick break. We will potentially drop in a sponsored ad, although maybe not after our intro segment. We want to appear objective, but we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Bye.
All right, we're back.
You know what that sound meant?
You know what that sound means. That great techie sound. That means it's time for Tech Talk.
Yeah, for me, the DJs at the concert last night. Oh, sorry, wrong techno talk.
Yeah.
Technical football.
That's right. But it's techie sound, tech talk. See, it's like the same word, kind of.
Our producers are best in the biz.
Our producers suck.
Best in the biz.
All right, let's talk about what we saw Saturday, last night in Tampa Bay. Team played a 4-3-3. What did you think about that, Will?
I have a Chelsea joke I'd like to interject at this stage of our podcast.
Okay.
Alan Marcina tried to park the bus in front of the Rayo OKC goal. Unfortunately, there was only one player on the other team who had the keys to the bus. Joe Cole spent many years playing in the parked bus style of play and knew how to unlock the Rayo defense.
I'm going to have to beg to differ.
Who you're hearing is actually Joe Cole speaking.
Yeah, we have Joe Cole in the Scissortail studio in the sky tonight. Anyway, yeah, there's a great joke.
Okay, anyway, yeah, it was terrible. The 4-3-3, I mean, it was totally ineffective, right? I mean, they just sat back and played. Okay, in the first half, they were playing this triangle. There was a flat back four. The midfield three featured kind of Boateng as your kind of central defensive midfielder. And then you had Menjivar and Pekka, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Playing as the kind of the.
Well, you had Michel and Pekka.
Michel and Pekka. Michel on the left, Pekka on the right, playing as kind of the other 2 points of the triangle. And I saw, Michel and Boateng were kind of trading off, right? So I saw Michel range pretty forward. He would obviously drop back. And then you had Finlay as the tip of the spear. And it looked like they were playing a lot through the wings to Forbes and Menjivar. Thought Menjivar played great. And obviously the wing backs, Kimura and the new Loney Hernandez were getting forward a lot as well. So in the first half, they were actually playing pretty attacking. I liked a lot style of play. And credit to Tampa Bay, they were playing attacking right back. So it was an entertaining first half, even though there were no goals. I don't know the stats. Do you have any stats from the first half that we can look at? I think at one point they showed possession 60-40 in favor of Rayo OKC.
Yeah, I lost it.
Okay, but none of that matters. None of that matters because we got the goal early in the second half, and the game just completely changed. And our team's offensive style of play fell off a cliff, and they just played really defensive. And I get it, right? They put Velasquez up top, thinking he'd be like a speedster, him and Forbes to like lead the break, but it just completely backfired, and it led to even more chances for a pretty game Tampa Bay side. And so Tampa Bay had a lot of chances and was unlucky, in my opinion, to not score more than one. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on kind of the technical aspect of the game?
I agree 100%.
I mean, look, 17 shots to 6 in favor of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I tweeted right after the game, very happy with a point because it could have and probably should have been 2-1, 3-1 in Tampa Bay's favor. You have the Neil Collins missed header right in front of the goal that went over the bar. Then the Joe Cole free kick that was off the post and arguably in or not. So goal line technology. There is no goal line technology. Yeah,
I wish we knew.
So, yeah, I agree. I think the first half I was very happy with the way Rayo was playing. Very happy. Then, again, we go up 1-0. Rayo goes up 1-0, I guess. And after that, like you alluded to in your joke, they kind of pull back all 11. The pressure drops off, and there really wasn't even a counterattack. I mean, there were a couple of times when players got out in front and it was just one guy. The whole team wasn't coming up to help on the counter. So
the stats are showing a relatively even game, but I think the key stat is that total shot 17-6 just completely shows. And Tampa Bay had 12 shots from inside the box. That just shows you, like, you can see pretty easily what was happening if you read between the stats, like what was going on. So
the only lineup change from last week was Robbie Finlay got the start over Samaras at the center forward position. Any comment? I mean, we kind of talked about that already. So Michel's goal was comical.
Honestly, for such an open game, and I say open. It was open in the kind of the first third of the game, the first 60 minutes of the game. Both of the goals were kind of ticky-tacky, right? So, like, that Michel goal was, like,
Yeah, really surprised to see that amount of miscommunication from the Tampa Bay defense because Matt Pickens has played really well this season up until now. So,
but then we conceded an own goal.
Yeah,
is that credited to an own goal?
It was an own goal. It was tough to tell. The angle that I saw when I was watching it, Danny got a chunk of it when Tom Heineman hit it. Danny deflected it, so it looked like it was going to go wide, and Juanon was running on to chase and just couldn't get out of the way to save himself, and it went right off his belly really and into the net. So, but again, that was one of many times when Tampa Bay got the ball in a great position on the left, and Danny or somebody else in the defense had to make a great block or stop or tackle to keep them from going in on goal.
Yeah. Michel was brought down on the box. I don't know what minute was in.
Penalty.
Yeah, that was a penalty for you, clearly.
Yeah, I think he had I think he got pulled down. I think there was an arm. I think he sold it like everybody does. Obviously, Michel is strong enough to not just go down with one person yanking on him, but I saw an arm wrapped around his waist.
I saw an arm come over his shoulder. Unfortunately, camera angle is not super conducive to being a television referee.
Right.
Anyway,
injury update. We don't have one. Marvin Chavez was not featured, so we can only assume he's still out. We'll ask about it next week. Eric Morales, still no Eric Morales.
Did we leave the game with any notable injuries? I saw kind of a bad angle. Didn't Pekka take a
Pekka got slid into in his ankle, but he still continued to play. They subbed. You missed it because we were watching the replay, but at literally the end of the 5th minute of 5 minutes of stoppage time, they subbed Tyler Gibson on for Pekka. So I don't know if that was because Pekka could not go any longer. I think it was for Pekka. But one of the questions that I had later on, or maybe now I can ask it now, is why, if ever, would you sub someone on in the 5th minute of 5 minutes of stoppage time?
Just kill the game off, right?
Yeah.
Just kill the game off.
Yeah, Pekka. He did come in for Pekka in the 96th minute. So
yeah, maybe Pekka said, if I play another 45 seconds, my ankle is literally going to fall off. Who knows? But look, kill the game off at the very least, right? So.
Yep. Yeah. Happy to get 1 point. So
I'll take it for sure. Not pretty. If there's anything, there's definitely room for improvement in the coming week in practice. So we'll look forward to seeing hopefully an improved side at home this upcoming weekend.
And we're clearly getting better at our predictions. Our previews, because who are the two people? No, this was really easy, but who are the two of the people that we talked about on Tampa Bay who very clearly influenced the game? Joe Cole, obviously, but Tom Heineman, who had the shot that turned into an own goal.
Dude, that guy looks intimidating.
That guy looks big.
He looks intimidating.
So yeah, definitely keep an eye on him in the NASL going forward.
I would not fight him.
No, he's very Sasquatchy looking.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, that wraps up a rousing and riveting technical talk. We will take a quick break.
We'll be back to talk about Fort Lauderdale at home next week.
Yes. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back to Scissortail Podcast, episode 15. Looking ahead now. We're done with Tampa Bay, at least for the spring season. We're going to talk about Fort Lauderdale, the upcoming home game. Will, what do you know about the Fort Lauderdale Strikers?
I know that we are 7th in the table. We are 6th in the table. They are 7th. We have 8 points. They have 6.
Yes, something like that.
That's all I know. I know this is our 4th game in a row against a Florida team. Is that right?
Yes. Yes?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we played all four Florida teams.
Look. Okay, the Rowdies beat the Strikers 1-0. We tied with the Rowdies 1-1, so we're definitely going to win.
Yeah, easy.
All right, well, that was a good segment.
All right, we're done. So besides that, that really is pretty much all we know. All I know is
they have the same jerseys as the Rowdies, it's just red and yellow.
That's right. They're horrendously looking jerseys.
I don't dislike them.
I cannot stand them.
You can't abide
No,
hoops
I don't
jersey?
like their red and yellow horizontal
Hoops.
stripes.
I like hoops.
Hoops. They've won one game, and surprisingly, that was against Carolina. They derailed the Railhawks, actually. Since they beat Carolina, Carolina's not done well.
Yeah, they really have.
And before that, they were awful. I mean, they and Edmonton and Ottawa were kind of looked at, and Miami, I guess, can't forget about Miami, as the bottom third of the league. Then they beat Carolina 2 weeks ago, and then last week they drew this last Saturday they drew against Indy 11 0-0 in a riveting game. So
I unfortunately have to miss the game yet again, so I won't be able to really contribute. I guess I'll have to get it recorded. Come back to the Scissortail studio in the sky to watch, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on Cox or what. We will.
I'll make sure that the wedding reception puts it on.
Yes, yeah, you should definitely do that. Insist that they have Cox, and if they don't have Cox right now, then they have to get Cox by the Saturday.
I'll bring my laptop, and we can illegally stream the game from the reception.
So I will be at the game by myself, lonely.
First time for us to be a part as a duo at a home game.
So lonely. I'll have to take my own selfie before the game.
Well, now that there should be a lot of other people from the local press there, now that they're all writing.
Now they're writing about the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about that in the next segment. So I don't know. I don't even know any players for Fort Lauderdale. I haven't followed them at all.
I think we should just end this segment early because we don't know jack shit about this team.
And our Jimmy Johns is probably almost here. So
all right. Well, hey, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're in Free Talk now, episode 15, Scissortail Podcast. Just want to warn you, we did place an order for Jimmy John's to be delivered to the Scissortail studio in the sky. It has not yet arrived.
He knows we're recording, and to knock gently.
So however, we may break this Free Talk segment up into 2 short segments if our Jimmy John's arrives.
Segment 1, talking without food in our mouths. Segment 2, talking with food in our mouths.
Copious amounts of Jimmy John's sandwiches in our mouth. Okay, we did it last week, so I asked it again today. I didn't give people as much time last week as I did today. But I sent out the question on the old Twitter machine. Does anyone have any questions for the Scissortail podcast? I always feel weird asking that. Like, send in your questions for the Scissortail podcast.
Because of course,
recording.
Yeah.
So
dedicated fans, hanging on every single word.
At any rate, we had 2 questions come in. Well, a question and then I guess a talking point. So we'll answer the question first. This comes from Tobias the Monkey again.
I like that guy.
Tobias the Sock Monkey asked if the team brought back any of the Florida soil to sprinkle on the field at Miller Stadium to try to, increase our home luck, I guess. Unclear. I don't know. We can ask in the press conference next week.
Coach Morsina.
Inquiring minds want to know. How much of that Florida soil did you bring back to sprinkle on the field?
Coach Morsina, you might find this unlikely, but one of our followers is a animated sock monkey puppet named Tobias. Okay, well, next time when we go out there, we should definitely grab some.
Yes, if we go out there. Not confirmed yet. We'd like to go out there.
All right,
at some point.
So there is. Okay, let's move on now to the talking point portion of Free Talk.
Yeah, so an anonymous Twitter follower sent us a copy of the article in the Mustang News. An editorial, I guess.
Yes.
A true editorial, not a fake editorial.
Not sponsored
by anyone. But a true editorial by one Trey Hunter. Who, Trey, if you're listening, I would love to meet you sometime. I've seen your name at every home game on a nice little placard up in the press box next to us, but we've yet to meet face-to-face. So if you're ever going to come out and cover a game, that'd be great. We'll have you out. We'll go down. You can meet the Red Army, and you can see for yourself what Rayo OKC is all about. But at any rate, the article, what were the main points of the article, Will, in your opinion?
The article was fine. It was not very long. The guy was just talking about the animosity between the fan bases of the Energy and Rayo OKC. It seemed like he was saying, I don't understand why this is. teams are in different leagues. It's not the same as like OU or OSU.
Yeah, it's not Bedlam.
It's not Bedlam or like Thunder Spurs, and kind of he was making the analogy that like it's different leagues and we should be. I don't know that he was saying we should be supportive, but he was like,
did say we should be supportive.
Sure, yeah, saying that we should be supportive, and I understand his point of view. I don't think I agree with it. Animosity, in my opinion, like the animosity that we see on Twitter and whatever, it's pretty misguided, in my opinion, from the other side. Like it's all very petty, but I think that it's healthy, right? It competition is it breeds animosity, especially in sports where the easy narrative is to find a rival.
Yeah, I feel like
a hated rival.
We've beaten this dead horse, a lot, and my personal opinion is I would be more worried if there was no animosity between the two sides than having too much animosity. And I think there's a difference between friendly banter and a friendly rivalry and, you know, going above and beyond that. We're certainly not at the level of European sides where, as we were discussing off the air earlier, the away fans have to be sheltered by police or anything. This is just, it's Twitter. I mean, come on, it's Twitter. It's internet.
Let's avoid jumping into the pro-rel rabbit hole here, which we easily could do, and move on to our next talking point. Today was a big day in the world of football, especially in Europe. So kind of the closing ends of the season, starting to see teams be confirmed for relegation and promotion. And one, Rayo Vallecano, maybe you've heard of them, in Madrid, was relegated today out of La Liga and will play their next season in the second division in Spain. Any comments or thoughts on that?
I think this is something we've talked about from the beginning because since January, since we've been covering Rayo OKC, Vallecano has been in the bottom half of the table, not always in the danger of relegation, but talked about, enough to be talked about. And again, a horse that's kind of been dead and beaten dead for a while, but since it happened and it's official today, something we need to discuss. We've been told that all of the money that Raul Martin Pereza invested in Rayo OKC is quote-unquote in the bank. So there is no risk of, at least in the short term, any financial disruption for the team. As we know, Rayo OKC operates independently. They have their own front office. They have their own training staff, own equipment, everything like that runs independently. So...
yeah, just to cut in with you, the relegation of Vallecano means absolutely nothing to me. Like, I don't feel any remorse or disappointment or anything like that at all.
Yeah, I think, especially for this season of the NASL, it means nothing. I think next season we'll see the impact because I think if this team doesn't stay together and they don't keep all these pieces and they go to try to make these splash signings of, you know, Derek Boatangs of the world, the Giorgio Samarases of the world, I don't think it'll be as easy to sign those players to a second division American side when the affiliate club or the parent club or however you want to term it is also a second division side. So I think that's where you'll really see the impact. And not only that, but it kind of puts some egg on the face of the Rayo OKC front office when they've been pushing so hard and pushing the narrative so hard of come see a team that is partnered with a La Liga Spain team, and now it's just the Segunda Division team that they're partnered with. So, again, I don't think either of those things will have an effect on the team this season. So, hopefully, if any, it may be a blessing for Rayo OKC because now you guys got to do it on your own.
Yeah, we can stop talking about it.
Yeah, you can't lean on the crutch of your Rayo Vallecano's little brother.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody is actually pushing this. Well, people are. People are saying, well, that money that was invested in Rayo OKC should have stayed at the parent club. But I fail to see what $3.5 million would have done to prevent relegation.
I saw one tweet that said, basically, Rayo Vallecano would not have been relegated had they not started Rayo OKC.
I just can't see any way.
My question to you is: we will never have enough logic in the world to defeat the people that think that way.
Correct.
In a debate. However, if you were Raul Martin Presa, and you could do it all over again, and you decided to take that $3.5 million and not invest it in Rayo OKC, what is the best thing that you could have done to try to prevent your team from being relegated with $3.5 million?
I guess you could have bought Samaras.
You mean, seriously, do you buy a player?
No.
Because it's not one player that's your problem.
Right.
Do you buy 3 okay players? Do you?
Yeah. As discussed, right? I mean, as discussed. So,
somebody out there, tell me.
if we're missing something, I would legitimately like
Exactly.
to know. Yeah.
Tell me, besides just say that if they hadn't put the money in Rayo OKC, they wouldn't have been relegated. Tell me how. Tell me how, and I will believe you. But
if it's a valid argument.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, always welcome to having our minds changed. We actually have a segment called Corrections, so if you want to correct us, please do. But that concludes episode 15. So next week, coming up, the big 1-6. I think we'll probably, in the American tradition, take 16 shots before we get our driver's license and go drive around. And we will sign off here.
Check us out at ScissortailPod on Twitter, ScissortailPod@gmail.com if you want to email us something longer than 140 characters. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, K98 Talk. So yeah, listen to us. Send us a note. Let us talk about something, unless you just really like hearing us talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Stay frosty, my friends.
See you next week.